Good morning. September 9th. It is rainy. It's a deluge this morning. It's like so much rain. Everything's soaking wet. I have news. I think my camera's crooked. I have news from the orthopedics guy about this. And the news is that everything I'm doing is great. Keep doing it, and in fact, do more. So, cross-body stretches, which are still very uncomfortable. Oh, that doesn't feel so bad. See, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yesterday, these were not good. Today, they're great. Okay, not great. I wouldn't say they're great. Cross-body stretches, and then you've seen me do these guys, right? You've seen me do that kind of movement. Well, you can do them with your hands together or apart. And what happens is, depending on how you do that, right? That changes the intensity and how the movement feels throughout the rest of the upper body, because you're either holding those joints in, tight, or you're building a little bit of space between them. Another way to do that whole movement would be to hold a towel between your hands so that you can vary the distance, because it's not always easy. It's not always easy to get that kind of range of motion. But I have great shoulder flexibility and shoulder mobility, rather. I have great shoulder mobility, and it's healing right along, and everything's right where it should be, and everything's great. So it's awesome news. It's what I hoped for. As I've said before, I was afraid that he was going to say something. I was concerned that I could develop some scarring or some other. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. I was afraid that working the joint too soon would create damage or scarring and restrict mobility later on down the line. And I would end up with an injury such that I'd be saying, when I first had this injury, if I had taken it easy, then I would have mobility now. That was the major concern, right? What's the long-term viability of what I'm doing right now? And he said all of the movements that I demonstrated, downward dog, Utkatasana with arms out, right? All these guys, all the movements that I showed him, he said, are all therapeutic at this point. Now, therapeutic is not necessarily something that's magical, right? It doesn't have to be medicinal. Sitting quietly watching a sunset can be therapeutic. So I'm not trying to say that I was intuitively doing medicine on myself. Okay? Medicine and therapeutic, they're not the same thing. So I'm going to stop yapping. I'm going to go do yoga. Come here. Sit. Thanks for joining my practice this morning. Namaste. 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 So many kittens.